Travis Kelce is getting accused of cosplaying blue-collar masculinity, or he's getting accused of making fun of Trump fans. So let's just get into this because it is all a result of the new photo shoot that he just did with GQ magazine. And if you guys have not seen it, prepare yourselves because I'm going to show you. It's the most bizarre photo shoot, okay? I'm not here to defend it, but we're going to unpack certain layers to it here in a bit. So there's Travis holding an alligator in the Everglades of Florida, probably like a multi-$1,000 hat. That's sort of the theme of this. He's in very bizarre locations, wearing very expensive clothing.
Never buy a fur coat with a credit card until you absolutely have the money to pay for it.
So this cover photo, which I believe is the one they actually used, was him on a hydro jetpack, and he's in a Prada vest, but he's just... It's very chaotic, but frankly, like that photo to me is funny. Then one of the other ones was just this, and it's like America's sweetheart. There's lots of fur in this photo shoot. This photo in particular made me laugh because he's holding an Hermes bag. I believe this is the most expensive type of Hermes bag you can get because it's the largest kind that they make. And those bags, I think in small versions are like $30,000. And then who's the random guy on the phone? It's like actual guy in the Everglades working, doing like, looking like a normal Florida guy. And then Travis, just like sticking out like a bit of a sore thumb. Everyone's like, what is this photo shoot? Okay, then you have, he's holding snakes. This one though, people were like, what the heck? It's like Sports Illustrated, but in a construction vest. That was probably a nice fancy Stetson that's been ruined. All of these are just so like, what is happening? I mean, he looks like he knows what he's doing up there. I have a lot of questions like how to get up there.
You just drop in and just smack the lip, pull back.
Did the jacket get wet? Because I assume you have to be in the water before you get ready. These are the questions I have. So now I've set the scene a bit. Okay, that's what the photo shoot was. Okay, because Ella has all the people on the internet talking for a myriad of reasons. Now, these are some of the first comments I saw when I was first kind of diving into this story that it has unfolded into. Be for real. I don't like him, but at least he's giving creativity. Most male covers are boring as shit. That was kind of my first thought. Like, these were funny to me. They were like different, something funny, but they did feel bizarre. Something felt off about them. Another person said, I feel like he's got enemies because there's no way this is the best they came up with. It was, I guess, the best that they could come up with. Someone said, this is the worst magazine cover I've ever seen. I saw a lot of that from people on both sides because both sides of the aisle, again, if we're getting political for a second, both sides hate it. Now, I did think, yes, it was crazy. It was outlandish. It was silly. But also, given his personality, it seemed fitting. But upon further analysis from those on the internet, there were two different ways that this photo shoot was interpreted. Here's how the left interpreted this photo shoot. Now, again, this was in Florida. And you know how they feel about Florida. And there were alligators.
I've never been more mad in my life. Let me show you the BS that they're trying to peddle to us.
Peddle. See, we all like look at it through the same ways. Like, we know the media is trying to peddle certain messages to us. And so now we've trained at least the left to also look for that. But now they've spun this of sorts.
I'm not falling for the propaganda. I don't know what this is. I don't know why this is. In fact, I don't know how this is. But I know I don't like it. Because what in the alligator Alcatraz is going on? What are you doing? What are you doing? You are a respectable publication. What is this? Please. And I'm not even joking when I say this is giving alligator Alcatraz. We all know that there's a big political statement currently happening in America. And I don't think this is a good look. And people around him have been tied to right-wing stuff. This is weird to me.
No good arguments were made, but I guess she's trying to say that it has to do with Florida. And that is inherently political these days. I saw a lot of people being like, yeah, that fur reminds me of January 6th. It reminds me of Trumpies. Like, they're imitating Trumpies. Like, maybe they're sending a message that he supports. I mean, I saw so many random things like, what are we doing? And people agreed with her in her comment section. Girl, it's giving Jan 6 rioter. Recession indicator for real. And then I saw people on the right critiquing it for a different reason. A reason that frankly made much more sense. Link Loren always has funny takes, and here's his on this.
They're calling him America's sweetheart on the cover. And I find this very interesting because they were just calling Sydney Sweeney America's sweetheart as well. And it seems like GQ is trying to reclaim that branding, that terminology, but there's nothing America's sweetheart about Travis Kelce in these photos, okay? These photos are an utter calamity. They're disaster. They're terrible. When I look at all these pictures, this is what a bunch of liberal elite stylists sitting around in an office building in New York City or Los Angeles think of rural America. This is what they think a Western guy might look like or a Florida man might look like. This is what they think a blue-collar American might look like.
I don't think it's necessarily that they think it's that. I just think that they don't know what that actually is. And that this is evidence of that. They're like, I don't know. What do dudes wear in the South? Not this. Every person in Florida is looking at that all-fur outfit being like, not a single day of the year could anyone get away with wearing that just on the temperatures alone, let alone the fact that you would never wear that on any of these locations. This is not an accurate portrayal of a masculine man from the South, but if they would have had Travis in a pair of Tecovas, well, that would have made a bunch more sense. I personally love my Tecovas cowboy boots. I wear them all the time. They are handcrafted with over 200 meticulous steps, so you get that broken-in comfort right out of the box. But if you guys do not want to try cowboy boots, you can also try slip-ons and sandals because they also have a bunch more options that still bring in that Western flair. True Western flair, not some weird cosplaying situation. Plus, they also have professional-grade work boots that bring comfort and timeless style to any job site. So whether it's a long day at work or a big night out on Broadway, your Tecovas are built to last and to impress. From generational ranchers to first-time boot buyers, there's something for everyone. Trust me, you go on the website, I'm sure that you will find something that you love. They even have a whole collection of men's and women's apparel, bags, and fine leather goods. I personally wear my Tecovas all the time. If you guys want your new go-to pair of shoes, right now you can get 10% off Tecovas if you go to tecovas.com/comments when you sign up for email and text. That's 10% off at tecovas.com/comments. And also right now with their Best in the West guarantee, you get free returns and exchanges for 30 days, so there is no risk in just trying on a pair that you've been eyeing up. So see the site for details, grab a pair today. You can actually look legit and not this cosplay aesthetic that Travis, for whatever reason, decided to do.
And I'm here to tell you, that is not Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce, this is a man who is a Pfizer brand ambassador, okay, who did advertisements for Big Pharma. This is not someone who is really in touch with blue-collar America, okay? This is someone who's worth about $90 million.
The caption said, Travis Kelce cosplays rural blue-collar workers in a desperate attempt to take back culture. I know a lot of people hate Travis Kelce, because he was Pfizer bro, but at least it's like a manly dude. We're talking about Sydney Sweeney. She was a womanly woman. Now we have a manly dude. Okay, it's the little wins, I guess. If nothing else, these photos became just meme fuel, okay? And I'm just going to show you one of the many that I've seen, but Daily Wire had really funny ones last night, so I'm just going to show these. Motorist, why has this road been under construction for 2.5 years? Construction workers.
Road work ahead.
Me after not saying polo when bro says Marco, I'm feeling devious. Who wrote these? I need to know which person in this company wrote these. The look that weird guy in class gives you after passing you a note that says, do you like me, yes or no? 6-year-old me holding my mom's purse so she could use the restroom at Costco. That one I was dying. It's so accurate. On the top comments, did Tim Walz play in this photo shoot? A lot of people said they saw similarities between, remember the Kamala Harris, Tim Walz thing of like, I'm a man. And it was these men in like locations where they would never have actually been wearing things they would never actually wear. That's kind of how this felt.
I ain't afraid of bears. That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
So regardless of the side of the aisle that we all fell, we did realize that something about this just feels very, very off. Weird. And the cosplaying element has been my favorite perspective that I have heard. And now that I have heard it, I can't unsee it. However, Travis is inherently masculine. So it wasn't Travis who seemed to be guilty of this disconnect, okay? He's silly, he's goofy, he would do any of this, like it makes sense. Obviously, he was not the one in charge of this photo shoot or the styling or the location, any of that. The vision was someone else. Therefore, the source of the cosplaying must be found elsewhere. And then I found the source because I had to dig deep because then I was invested. Law Roach, a queer icon celebrity stylist. And now the disconnect all makes so much more sense. This whole magazine shoot even got so much hate that then GQ ran another article specifically about Law Roach's decision to play dress up with big tough guy Travis Kelce. And Roach's comments just made this so much funnier because then it actually proved what everyone has been saying about the cosplaying element. There's one particularly intimate photograph from the shoot where Travis is submerged in the ocean wearing just a fluorescent construction vest. If I had to bet which would go viral tomorrow, I would put my money on this one. How did you and Ryan make this happen? Ryan's one of the other people who worked in the shoot. Law Roach said, in my crazy mind, it was like, oh, he just got off a construction job. He's been working all day. He's just going to jump into the ocean to cool off. You know what I mean? No, bro, that's not... That line alone was like, oh, he's so disconnected. Burly construction bros, right after they get off the job, they're not just leaping into the ocean. Never one I've met or seen or like... And I don't know how to swim. And I'm just up to my effing neck in water telling him to slick back your hair and do all these things. I mean, it's just so like the perfect contrast of someone masculine and game for everything, which is someone like Travis, contrasted with someone like Law Roach and being like, well, men probably do this, right? Normal men, You don't know. That's the whole point. That's what makes it so funny. One of the other quotes is so funny. It can be challenging to style athletes who don't typically fit into standard issue fashion samples. But in this case, you used his physique as an advantage. There's a lot of bare chest in the shoot. We wanted to make sure that fashion could accentuate his physicality, not the other way around. Which again, in that respect, I get it. They didn't want to cover up his masculinity by putting him in these femboy clothes that we see Harry Styles in all the time. In that respect, they just used it to their advantage, I guess. So that tracks. Usually when you're dressing a model or even someone who is average size, somebody who is not an NFL, it's more about the fashion. But this time we had to go and reverse it and make it about the physicality and accentuating the physicality and making that just as important to the story. I mean, I think that did become the whole story. It was like his furry chest and his furry clothes.
You are hairy like animal.
They were also kind of making this a little bit about body positivity because apparently there had been some photos of Travis that came out during the off season of him just not looking in the most toned shape, I guess, ever, because again, he's in the off season and he got a lot of hate for that. So then Law Roach said, I think shooting him a little bit more raw and showing the body that he's in is almost like an FU to the critics, which I thought was really, really powerful. So they were kind of going that route. But the one that I thought was the funniest and really the reason why I wanted to show Law Roach's interview about this was he said, we wanted to use the environment and create a world in the environments that are accessible in Florida, like the swamp, which again, people don't just go in the swamp.
Do not feed the gators. Leave them gators alone.
For me, it's always about storytelling. So Ryan and I just started sending each other all these pictures of guys doing construction, fishing, or wrestling with gators. We felt that Travis's physique and also his personality could handle that. I laughed at that because I could just envision these two LA stylists sending each other Pinterest photos about, okay, well, this is what guys look like when they go fishing. This is what guys look like when they do construction stuff. And also, Travis is from Cleveland Heights. He's a city boy. Born and raised. Like, so even the Florida doesn't speak to him. Like, none of it speaks to him besides the being overtly kind of bizarre and like boldly masculine, I guess. There's so many ways that this could go that everyone would have loved it, but I feel like they went this route just to get everyone talking about it. I guess that's part of the point. Could have been like cool football stuff, cool city photography. They just went so crazy into this over-the-top Florida man, chaotic, burly, masculine man that maybe women will end up appreciating just the normal, healthy masculinity again. And I mean, if nothing else should motivate, this encouragement of masculinity again, it should be Taylor Swift herself, considering that burly man is the man that appears to be her endgame guy, which frankly we should celebrate considering the immense influence that they have over culture. She just appeared on Travis's New Heights podcast, making her podcasting debut, which she's never been on a podcast before, and they cracked 1 million live viewers in less than 8 minutes. So much so that it shut down, it glitched. I don't know if that was because of the high traffic, but you couldn't even watch it after a certain point. So I'm not surprised that I got those kind of crazy views. It makes sense because Taylor was literally on her boyfriend's podcast talking about their love story, and also because she just announced her brand new album on that podcast. Now, specifically though, with a little bit of dating information that they gave to us about their love story, I honestly thought that it actually, again, reinforces and helps with that masculinity and encouragement of men being direct and knowing exactly what they want, because that's what Travis did, and it won him a Taylor Swift. We've never also seen Taylor just talking to her boyfriend before, like literally ever. All of her big relationships, you never see them communicate with her significant other, which sounds like, okay, who cares, Reagan? But you think about it, it's like, that's kind of weird. But now we're seeing like this super intimate setting. So people are just obsessed. But they were talking about their love story. For those of you who don't remember, Travis on this podcast 2 years ago, he talked about making one of those bracelets with his number on it. And then he wanted to give it to Taylor. And then he couldn't actually meet her, even though he thought he was going to be able to meet her. And so he got sad and he talked about it on the podcast.
I was a little butthurt. I didn't get to hand her one of the bracelets I made for her.
You made her a bracelet?
Yeah. If you're up on Taylor Swift concerts, there are friendship bracelets. And I received a bunch of them being there, but I wanted to give Taylor Swift one with my number on it. Not right now.
And then that clip made its way to her. And then they started dating because he was direct and he's like, yeah, I'd like to date her. So that's what they're talking about here.
It was such a wild romantic gesture to just be like, I want to date you. Like on, I don't know. It was at first when I looked at it, I was
Sweetie,
like, this dude is.
That's what it does when you're on the stage and you perform in Arrowhead. That's what it did.
This dude didn't get a meet and greet. He's making it everyone's problem. That's what I thought at first. And then I was
come
like,
to Arrowhead, I get to meet you. That's the perk of playing for the Chiefs.
You realize he didn't even reach out to our management. I was like, when this podcast came out, I was like, did he ever reach out to be like in the tents, or did we know he was in the building? He thought that because he knows the elevator lady that he could talk to her about just getting down to my dressing room. That's how it works.
You just go.
And I got denied.
That's how it works in 1973. This kind of felt more like I was in an 80s John Hughes movie and he was just like standing outside of my window with a boombox, just being like, I want to date you.
Yeah.
Do you want to go on a date with me? I made you a friendship bracelet. Do you want to date me?
Just come outside and meet me. Just meet me once. Just give me a chance.
So I was like, if this guy isn't crazy, which is a big if, this is sort of what I've been writing songs about wanting to happen to me since I was a teenager.
Yeah. And I was sitting there at the Eras Tour listening to every single one of those songs. Like,
Listening.
It was wild, but it worked. I'm glad it worked. I'm just circling back to New Heights to say thank you for this. Yes. Look at this.
I'm the luckiest man in the world.
That's really cute. I don't care if you guys are T Swift, Travis Kelce haters. I get the hate also, but that's wholesome. But if I'm bringing that back to dating advice, he was clear, he was direct, he listened, he knew what she wanted. I mean, frankly, he listened to her decades of music to understand that all she ever wanted was like a man to just like want her and be clear about that. He's very masculine, but also this like shows too, she went through like the soft boy era, you know? She went through the soft boys, she went through the performative male. I'm sorry, Maddie Healy probably falls in line with performative male. And then she found her way back to masculine. It's a huge win. Frankly, it's a win for Taylor because of who she used to date. And it's also a win for society because they're not out here encouraging games and situationships and confusion on any level. So while the internet freaks out over the fashion choices of what is really a woke celebrity stylist's decisions, I am going to celebrate the influence of a healthy, committed couple. And frankly, I look forward to whatever new music has come out of this new era of her life. Thanks so much for watching today's episode. If you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe to this channel and like this video if you enjoyed it. For other content, you can also follow me on Instagram and X, as well as our brand new comment section Instagram. I'll see you guys in the next episode.